I know you all speak of evangelization and catechesis and the encouragement, the paraclesis part as a dialogue, a human dialogue. What does that mean practically?
Well, I think a lot of that has to do with how you present the faith. It's easy to present it as a bunch of doctrines, but when you actually are talking to someone one-on-one, that is where you will find the ability to change a life. We've often said that, even the demons know our theology better than we do, but they don't apply it. We have to apply it on a practical level and say, this is how you change your life. I think for me, what I've found is that a lot of that is sort of involved in the challenge, the way that Irenaeus presents the faith, that particularly men of my age group, but all men respond very well to challenge, and that you can't water down the faith, and expect people to respond. So if you get alongside them one-on-one and in a human dialogue, you present a fairly radical message, but you show them how your life has been changed. You show them how it can change their life. That is when you see grace.
I know that's a favorite theme of Doug. Did you have a question for us, Doug?
I do. The idea of the challenge. I agree with that 100%. I run a teenage boys boot camp in the summer months, and
sometimes we want to water down the gospel because we're afraid of pushing people away. But you all are saying that you present a challenge and it draws people, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I see it with the teens I work with, and I know that's you had mentioned that back there too about guys like challenge.
Well, the quickest way to get a little boy to do something is say, "Hey, bet you can't."
Exactly.
And older men grow more prudent with the things they try, but they're still thinking of ways they could accomplish it.
You're right.
It's the challenge that makes you strive forward.
It's the dare, double dare you sort of thing. So, but you're taking it to the aspect, obviously, of hey, I dare you to get to heaven. I dare you to be a saint. It's almost like when you hear the stories of some saints who would kind of challenge each other in their penances and their mortifications, almost in almost a friendly, competitive nature to really encourage a deeper appreciation. So when you're looking at someone and you're interacting with them in that human dialogue, and what's going through your minds? You have to be thinking, I mean, this is the salvation of a soul potentially right here that you're assisting in. And I love that quote, St. Catherine of Siena, that Christ told her that there was no greater work than to assist in the salvation of souls. That's essentially what you're talking about with this whole apostolate. So what goes through your minds or your hearts when you're interacting in that human dialogue with someone?
I would say one of the first things that I have to remind myself of is this is a person just like me who needs God like more than you can say, We both depend completely on the Lord. What does he say? He says, without me, you are nothing. And so I think remembering that I am a beggar before God, just as this person is. I can't judge, where they're at in their life, or maybe they're not Catholic like me or something like that. Who knows what I've been given in my life, and how well am I living up to where I should be as compared to them? They might not have been, grown up in a family that loved them, and there's all sorts of things. And so I would say from initially just connecting with them as a fellow brother or sister, and going on from that point.
So I think about that too, and just recently I bumped into a young man in a grocery store, and I had known him for many years, and I knew that he had come from a very, very difficult family situation. And at that very moment, just in passing in a grocery store, I thought, right now, by the grace of God, I've got an opportunity to make an impact by a positive, encouraging smile, by looking him in the eyes and acknowledging his value as a creation of God, and saying some encouraging word, ask him how he's doing and so forth, and maybe somehow get something in there potentially about the faith. But it sounds like that's what you're saying, is the opportunity to interact with people and realize that this is a creation of God before me, and I've got a moment here right now that, wow, can do so much.
Exactly. Reading through St. Peter's second letter, he is talking about how to become a great Christian, and he's giving a list of virtues. He says, make every effort to supplement your faith with virtue, and your virtue with knowledge, and your knowledge with self-control, your self-control with steadfastness, steadfastness with godliness. And then at the top of his list, he says, your godliness with brotherly affection, and your brotherly affection with love. This isn't this is the goal of our faith. The brotherly affection to come alongside someone, the love to help them see just how blessed their life can be.
Yeah, you know, everything you just said should be made into a poster and hung on the back of your door in your room. And that's just a great, you know, way to lay that out clearly for us. You know.
Todd, could you describe the website that you all have? That's part of your ministries too.
Yeah, one of the things that we do is we run a website, and it's still in its infant stages, we hope, but we cover our current events, and one of the greatest things that I think we offer is the St. Irenaeus podcast, which we like to broadcast some of the ministries that we're involved with. A lot of the Bible studies that Mr. Higbee does are put up there regularly. We've also covered some of the men's breakfasts that we do about once a quarter. We try to bring together men from all around the diocese and the ministry and talk about practical issues. And so we podcast those. We podcast, like I said, the lessons, and has really helped us expand beyond the Rochester area.
You mentioned men and the men's breakfast and things, and it before in the green room there, David was telling us how if you reach out to men first, then the women will follow in these groups. Can you describe that effect? Because some people are floundering out there and struggling. How can we get men involved?
Well, like I said, I think the challenge is a huge part of getting men involved. And you can't be afraid to say, yes, this is what Jesus teaches. Yes, this is radical. And yes, it will change your life. And I think when you start getting men involved, you see that they're very open with one another at that level. And they're not afraid to act like men with each other.
I think, you know, historically, battlefields, you know, we go back to that.
Yeah.
We mentioned that when David was out here. And men on a battlefield, you know, sharing ammunition, you know, in the midst of the chaos going on around them. And that brotherhood between the two has been so instrumental in accomplishing heroic feats. But to the point of a woman and her expectations and hopes. Maria, can you speak to that a little bit about what you appreciate about the men that are involved in this apostle, but also what you as a woman would love to see with regards to men stepping up, getting on that horse, pull out that sword, and get in the battle?
Yeah.
You know, how do you feel about that?
Well, I guess that would
share it with the world. Right?
I guess that would be a perfect kind of analogy to use, because I can't think of a woman who wouldn't want, you know, knights in shining armor to be fighting, you know, for her good. You know, but I think it plays both ways. Obviously, that the women are there to support. I think, I'm not sure if it's the Holy Father, John Paul II, who said it, but how the woman's the heart and the man's the head. Right. You know, and if we don't take those respective roles and really, you know, take hold of them, because that's how God has made us, I think we both hurt each other in the long run. You know, and I think across the church, you see how I think a lot of women have felt like they've had to step up to the plate because so many men are kind of like, oh, this is fluffy stuff, you know? And I think a lot of women feel that too, but there's this struggle with, well, what are we to do? So yeah, definitely I would consider all these guys my brothers who are part of the Irenaeus Center. And
you would feel that, I'm assuming you would feel that they would protect you, they would fight for you, they would defend you.
Definitely.
You know, and that's what a woman really in her heart really wants to see. I teach my sons that they exist. My sons, yes, my sons, why do you exist? It's to honor and serve God, obviously, but they do it by loving and protecting and defending their mother and their sister. I tell them that's your purpose for existence right now. Protect and defend your mother and your sister. So
we got to take a quick break. We'll be right back with St. Irenaeus Ministries. Don't go away.